Peter, you see what I mean by cladding. This is a basic PETG shell. So we take everything off because, look, these are also pieces. This one has been sanded, but it's easy to sand this because there's zero detail in your way, like doors, vents, wara. Yeah, everything. So this is easy to sand. It takes you a day. You run it with a mouse and 120 sandpaper and make it nice and rough. Then run it with a 250, then a 400, then a 600, and then just with water over it, you're done. And it's just a mouse. It's fairly straightforward. Then, what I mean by cladding, you see how thin this is? This is a door. So that will now go on there. You stick it down. You see it's got a marking there. And you stick it down. Make sure that you got everything straight and wara. You run it right through. Just make sure in your drawing that when you take it off, you mark where it goes. Put them in little separate bags. My printers know how to do that now. And then with a shell that's clean, the resin being very, very smooth, it's fairly easy. You just stick it on and Bobby's your uncle. Now, even little things, if you look at this here, you see that one there's got a hinge. Those were stuck on. You can print those in resin. Why is it not there? You see, so it looks like that. And then when it's done, it looks like that. You just stick those on. Now, let me take this out the way so I can show you what I mean. This body I'm busy with, and this is very shiny now. This was also painted with Rust-Oleum like yours. I mean, this is a body I'm actually busy building this one. Now, shiny is a problem. If something is shiny and there's a flaw, it will show you immediately that there's a flaw. Now, you see that finish? You only get that that's all resin if you clad the thing. Now, very few 3D prints you can actually do that close up and get away with it. Very, very few, unless you clad it. And it's so much easier. And your detail, where in the old days, walk with me, we printed a cab like this. This is a full PETG cab. Now, you see on top there, where the window frame and the roof joins, it's impossible to sand there, and it's almost worse to print it because you see how fuzzy it gets. And this I did with, I think this was vapor smoothing, and all your details gone. You see, you can't even see the bolt heads there. Now, keep this in mind. And this was this, you see, it's not crisp. Now, if we put that down there, let me bring you the cab that was clad. I now take the roofs off. Now you see the difference. Look at the bolt heads. Now, this whole frame here, that little frame there that goes around, that's resin. That was separately printed. So you can actually paint it, put it down, paint the window rubbers, and then just glue it over the cab. Boomy boom. The doors are resin. So you don't have the problem where you got to try and sand around that handle and sand where the glue. No, you see that smooth. Now the other thing that's a big problem is the nose. The nose is the face of the loco. And if that's a bugger up, here you can see actually how the resin goes on. That piece I put on last night because I'm going to do something else with the lights. You see how nice and crisp it is, as opposed to whatever the hell I tried to do here. Now, you see even this here, that gets printed separately and goes into gets glued in there. All right. Okay, so that's what I mean by cladding. Now, the other thing is parts that's in your face. You see, this is the chassis here. Now, this is printed. Let me just show you everything. Now, here's the window frames. Now, the beauty with this is you can paint them separately, put the windows in them, which are laser cut outside here. You can measure that out, radiuses, everything, put the windows in, and then they just slide into these holes. So none of the markings in there matters because there's resin going over it. That's why you see that mark there at the back in the window frame. You don't see that because this presses over it and boom, it's nice and smooth. Now, the chassis is printed and then I weld a metal frame to it just to give it weight. That's 10 millimeter square bar. Look there at the back, there will be another piece there just to but your problem is if you get to here and you want to print the pilot, you have the same thing. A pilot's got bolts and nuts on it and rivets, and so no, it just never comes out right. So you print it in resin. Check how nice and crisp that is in resin, and then boom, you just stick it on and fill up the groove with putty. And there's a painted one. Look, I paint like my ass. I can't mask for shit, but yeah, there. And then that sits on there, and you can do all your pipes and your stuff separately, and at the end of the day it will look like that. So all the vacuum pipes there, that's resin printed. And then, okay, the small pipes there, the air brake pipes, those I make with silicone pipe. But you see, so clad. And that's the only, you see, there's another one there. No doors, no nothing on it. We'll put big things like toolboxes and stuff. And as I wanted to, let me go back here. Sorry, man, I'm jumping around. A nose, if your loco has a nose, is the face of the loco. If this thing is a stuff up and it's got lines on it, then you have a problem. It looks like crap. Sometimes happens in resin too. This one was printed and I nearly shoved it up the printer's ass because see the lines. So they're redoing this one. I can't work with that. So that's also important. Now once the nose is painted and nice and shiny, you see it looks like this. And boomy boom, that's the end of the story. And now you can put a loco together, you can get nice close-up shots and never have to worry about a print line. They always look cool, and it's much easier. You know, stuff like this, there's magnets that comes in here and gets put in here. So I can build a full interior at the back here, where the compressor sits in the air tanks, because this one's open. So you can do all that stuff separate. But you know, all these you print one side and just add on later. There's nothing wrong with a pot of glue. All the doors on this thing was stuck on, all of them. And that's the finish you get. All right, so I hope that makes it clear. Hell of a long video, but anyway. Okay, julle oukies, we'll speak later, bye.